There we go, everybody. This is what you've all been waiting for. So we're just going to go ahead and kick this off at the show at the beginning. Do we have anybody out there?
Yes, we got Power Band. James Nelson is in the house. By the way, good move on sending your friend over for some assistance there, James. Hopefully we were able to help her out a little bit. There's us, of course. Power Band again. Linda's in the house. Anita Allen. EyesintheWoods. What's going on, Oz? Dances with Orbs. We've got Anita. Kenny Hess is in the house. How do you guys feel about getting us twice a week again? Terry McCullough is in the house. Spooky Appalachia has arrived. Then we've got the executive producer, Adam Good. Angie is in the house. What's going on? Enzo Cirilli. What's going on, Enzo? We got this should be a good learning experience. The whole consciousness side of the paranormal is probably my weakest topic. Well, this is actually the fun thing about this topic. We're doing a live on it. We're also going to be doing a long format like the previous episode that we got to hang out and watch earlier this week, with less distractions and less things coming up, because this is a specific topic that prior to even starting Wild and Weird, Ron and I had years and years and years of experience in one way or another in. So hopefully tonight everybody's going to learn something interesting and take something away from this.
Folks, right before you hang on, I want to interrupt you just 1 second. I'm going to let you guys know the goals thing's not working tonight. So you guys have at it, do what you want to do, but I will give you the goal. The goal is 10 as always. And what we're going to do, listen,
we can keep track on our side.
Yeah, we can keep track on our side. You watch it, Joe. So anything works. So 10 is going to be the magic number. We get there next week. We're going to show a very, very, very exclusive reveal, because the next episode, Paranormal Horizons, gets a little crazy. Right, Joe?
Yeah, it gets something.
All right. Carry on, wish these people in, and we'll talk about that later. I just want to let you guys know because the button's not working for some reason. So we're going to do it manually, old school style.
Octopus is in the house. Nikki Bennett has arrived. Jen is here as well. We've got, let's see, Vincent Ellison's here with us. Who else do we got? Ashley Hilt. Congratulations on the new book, Ashley. Good to see you. Finding the Trackway. Finding and I had a good conversation yesterday. It was good talking to you on the phone, man. Make sure you keep my number and text me some more, and we'll have some more chats. Seth's in the house. We've got LR is here as well. We got a pretty decent house tonight, man. Gary Stuhler is here. Larry Hose has made it. What's going on, Larry Bear? Let's see. All right, and we've caught up. We have caught up now.
We got him. Okay.
Adam, good.
Adam just kicked in the door and started the clock. Thanks, we're now down. Nine left. Nine. Yeah.
Oh, got to scroll down. Scroll down.
Gave him the wrong one. Anyway, you gave him the wrong one at first.
It was a twofer.
Oh, it was a twofer. Okay.
He's the reason we have the Sky Daddy.
Oh, I know. So if everybody doesn't know, thank Adam Good for that, everybody. Everyone, thank Adam Good. So listen up. Here's what's happening to let you all know. We have the date. The date was up there a little bit ago. There it is. That is the date. That is it. The WVHSC meetings will take place. They are free. They are free events. They're family friendly. There'll be presentations, workshops. There'll be special guests, kind of presentations
kind of thing for foods.
What is it?
I said we can do some potluck kind of stuff. For food.
Yeah. Bring a few plates, whatever you want. It's a very big place. There's no worry about running out of room for people. A lot of parking, so we're all set. Everything is good to go, and it's going to be an amazing event. You're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to learn some stuff.
And these are going to be quarterly.
These will be quarterly
get-togethers, and it's going to be fun.
We already have a special guest lined up for the next quarter. We're going to kick off this one. We're going to go in and show some stuff that you haven't seen before. We'll talk about some things, and it's going to be pretty much literally. You've heard us say it for years. All the data goes on the table. Well, all the data is going to go on the table with these. That's what these are going to be. So if you've got something, seriously something good, then just contact us and we'll look at it and we'll figure out, if this is something that we need to put out there, we'll put it out there. You know what I mean?
Speaking of something good, I am actually wearing pants. I just noticed that I could see my leg here, and it looks awful flesh tone, but those are khakis. I promise. See,
he's done this in the wild before, guys. It's all good. He's been on video like that. It's weird.
I just saw that and I was like, man, that looks like I'm sitting here in just a t-shirt. I'm Winnie the Pooh in it over here.
Weirdo.
Oh man.
Anyway, as I was saying, I can go ahead and tell you that we've got a really special guest that's going to be coming on for number 2. We'll reveal him later, but first, let's kick into this because this is it's kind of relevant, right? It's kind of yeah. Don't you think? And we want to hear from everybody too. So this isn't just us going to be up here talking and spewing. We want to hear from everybody's thoughts on this. But the introduction of this basically is, changing reality. And now we're down to 8. Thank you, L.R. Miller. Thanks to you, we're 8 away from the big reveal.
Thanks, L.R.
Anyway, so can you affect reality with consciousness? And there's going to be a lot of theory going on in tonight's discussions, right?
Yep.
And there's going to be a little bit of science thrown in. So, lots of questions. Yeah, and a little bit of spirituality. We're going to throw it all together because for some reason, somewhere along the line, things got weird with this topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's do a quick briefing on the whole thing, Joe. Like, what's it about?
Well, this topic has kind of started to stir about a bit here recently, and within a lot of the spirituality communities, this has been something that's been talked about for centuries. This whole philosophy of essentially manifestation and placing your intent so strongly on something that it happens, or something similar to it happens. Placing intent so strongly that there's influence in one way or another over situations, over reality. Now, the reason this has come so active now is because the members of Skywatch, one of them in particular, who is a spiritualist, has talked about these effects of altering reality and using, we've already talked about Skywatch and their operations and how they're using consciousness as a method to communicate with these craft and entities and bring them in. And it is now one of the most argued and debated topics within the UFO community because the relationship that Skywatch has to the UFO topic now. But this isn't anything new. This topic isn't anything new. Nope. It's not exclusive to one group of people or the other. It has literally been around for eons.
Yep. It literally has, hasn't it? It's literally since the very first time that someone thought and had a thought that, I wish this would happen. I wish that would happen. That's literally it.
And not just that, not just with thought. There's a lot of emphasis behind words.
Mm-hmm. Creation.
And every every story of creation
Mm-hmm.
begins with a word. And the word is spoken and it becomes manifest. And most of these creation stories tell of us as part of this creation and that we were special in said creation and had the same characteristics, the same abilities as what the creative nature of the spiritual higher being that created us has. So
It's the moon. The fuzzy moon. It's my fuzzy crystal ball, actually.
Yeah.
I can look into it and I can manipulate reality. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
And no, you're fine. And that, we were created with that similar ability of creative power and creative ability. And this has literally been a part of every religion ever. Major religions, I'm sure there are probably some weird offshoots that this is not a part of, but in general, this methodology of thought, this way of thinking has been around since we began documenting and recording things. Now, Ron, that comes into the modern era.
Yeah.
With this whole talk of ufology and the way that they're approaching this.
Okay. Well, the reason that we really wanted to touch this was because, these guys are doing the intent thing, and that's we've done this. We've
done the intent thing. We recorded it. We've put it out there. We've shown it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gets better. You haven't seen all of it yet. That's what I'm saying. You guys want to see all of it. Just, 8 more to go. But there's some really cool stuff that you're going to eventually get to see. And then there's some really weird stuff that happened out there. But it's enough to make me say that it's not coincidence. It's enough to make me say that, okay, there's something going on here. There's an interface. Let's just call it an interface and go with that. But what are we interfacing with? Are we interfacing with the actual structure of reality itself? And that sounds absolutely crazy. It sounds bonkers.
But it doesn't. To me, it doesn't. Because let's just hypothetically let's look at it again.
Thank you, Gary.
I'm a minister. Let's look at it from that purview. Gary,
give Gary a blessing, minister. Give Gary a blessing.
That's what I'm doing.
Bless.
I'm going to hit some of these comments real quick, then I'm going to dive back in.
Yeah, do that.
Linda says, if you keep a lot during the day, you'll be amazed at how many times this happens.
Yes.
You think about something and then it's there.
Yes.
Anita says, this is where psi intersects magic, part of the theoretical physics field. Right. And if you pay attention to any of the theoretical physicists, theoretical physics usually starts with someone picking up ancient texts about mysticism. Because there's nothing else out there. They've got to look at some kind of experiment to base things on. Yeah. Jen says, I've been trying to manifest a big lottery win for I don't know how long, and just hello somebody haven't heard from in a while. So not so far, not so much. Ashley says, law of attraction, exactly why I got started researching this stuff. It works. It's real. Yeah. Anyone can do it. Yeah, anyone can do it.
Yep. There are limitations, but that's only us. We're the limitation.
Ada.
Thank
you, Ada. We
bless you in the hour.
Kenny says it goes back several thousand years BC. It really does.
Oh yeah.
And the so where I was going with this is it doesn't. It's not crazy. It doesn't sound crazy. It's just words. It's terminology used. One person can say that we're interfacing with the code, or we're interfacing with the reality, right? Or
right.
the fabric of reality.
Right.
The religious or spiritual, their God is the creator of that fabric of reality. And they believe that when they pray, they are interfacing with their creator. So it's literally the same thing. We're just using different words.
Oh, wait now, because you're gonna lose some people because this new age stuff, it can't coincide with some of them religious beliefs, Joe. I mean,
There is nothing new under the sun.
That's absolutely the truth. Thank you.
And that's the Judeo-Christian Bible.
Yep.
There is nothing new under the sun.
That's true.
We can call things new age all we want, but really all it is ancient methodologies being used in current day.
What did Reverend Carter say? It was ancient knowledge being rediscovered, I believe.
Yes, ancient knowledge being rediscovered. That is exactly the way he used it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. Appreciate it, man. But my brother Wayne got this for me. So we're using the wrong way about this, right? We're going about it the wrong way, rather. These words all mean the same thing. It's just that, well, I say prayer. Well, I use meditation. Well, okay.
She uses a spell.
Right. It's all methodology. It's all modalities. These things are all ways of, for lack of better term, interfacing with reality. Now, many, many moons ago, I wrote a book, and I was the leader of an organization that was within the church. That it was more of a movement. I was the leader of a movement within the church called the Underground. And I wrote a pamphlet. It was a 25, 30 page pamphlet on essentially how to interface with creation and how to, that's right. Hit that thumb button, guys. Mash it, give it a like, share, subscribe, because this is going to be a weird episode and it's going to get fun. We're going to have a great conversations with this, I think.
Oh, and throw out your own comments. Nothing's wrong here tonight. We want to hear all thoughts on this.
I taught thousands of people how to essentially remote view, how to know what was going to happen before it happened, and how to affect and make changes to that reality.
But to say this, you didn't know that's what those were called at the time.
Remote viewing? No. Well, I did know that that's what they were called because I was aware of that.
Right.
I was coming up with names that were going to be accepted within the church.
Right.
So I called it divine imagination.
Yeah.
That sounds fun, right? That sounds like something you'll hear in church. So I had to be creative. I knew about remote viewing. I knew that that's what this was. I just had to call it something else. We had to use different terminology. And this was something that I was also taught by other leaders who were doing the same thing that taught me. And I was just reaching a different group of people. And so it was a very, very interesting thing. And we were going out and doing those things, but I'd made these Christianese terms and put it on all of them. But one of the key things in that pamphlet, and I thought I had it up here somewhere, but I've got it somewhere here in the basement. Was there was a 3-page segment, 3 to 4 pages that was all talking about how reality is malleable and that you have the ability to change and create your own reality. And this is no different than what they're talking about today with Star Watch or Skywatch.
Now, what's really funny about that, most of my books you can't read because they're written in my language, but there's a couple pages in there that actually describe the same thing. Now, we didn't know each other then. Let's just put that there right away. I can imagine that if we were doing this in our own ways that made sense to us, mine was timeline branchings and what you all now call the multiverse theory.
Right.
When we were doing this, I can say that there were probably, what do you think, thousands and thousands of other people out there doing the exact same thing, right?
Yeah. There was a whole movement.
Yeah. So
taking
how did
place.
that happen? Why did
There
that happen?
there was something pushing.
Uh-huh.
And regardless of where you were at, regardless of organizational or structural beliefs, the same thing was happening in various places under various names. And it's weird. It is
Yeah.
absolutely weird. And, LR says, Joe, you can't commence preaching in a t-shirt. Go get that button down. Man, if I need to try to find some of the pictures of me going around preaching, and I would purposely do things to make people in the congregation uncomfortable, like go up and preach in a button up t-shirt that was buttoned down to here with like an undershirt on and completely barefoot. And it was fun. I purposefully did things like that to push people away from their sacred cows and make them uncomfortable in what they were in their religion, essentially, which is man-made structures, and force them to kind of get outside of their own confines. Anita said the technical term for this energy manipulation is subtle energy physics. Dances with Orbs. So will these classes be available at any of the workshops? What I do, I still do it. Okay. And it's weird talking about it here, but I still have people that will come to me from all over that will message me. And normally if that's the case, I'm kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I am the weird, angry guy on the backside of the desert that might yell at you. But if you come find me, I will help you and I will teach you. But yeah, it's and we might make these classes. It might work out. It's just it's the way I do it might not be good for somebody else. It might not be what somebody else wants. They might think one way of it, and that's why I don't want. That's why it gets, you get a lot of emotions, a lot of belief systems that get challenged, and so we might do something similar. We might try to come up with a way that we can do it that won't make anybody mad.
Well, I want to get, I mean, they're pouring in here. So start throwing your questions, throw your comments. What do you think about this? Did you do something similar to what we just talked about? For example, is there other synchronicities involved with that? Did you decide at some point, well, I'm going to write this poem about what reality is and how I may be able to change it, et cetera, et cetera? Or did you write a song? Like, did something at some point in your life, your early childhood, usually, or teens, or a little bit above, did that happen to you? I mean, it can happen at any time, but it's typically around the teenage years, I think, that some of these things, these hit.
And that was who I was teaching.
Yeah.
Those were the groups. It was teens and young adults were the people that I had. And that's one reason why we called it the underground, is because we were an underground movement within the church.
Because the fifth column was taken. I got you. Go.
Right. Linda Sigmund says kinetic energy, remote viewing, bending spoons, Monroe much. Right.
That was good.
Like psychic healing too. Psychic healing, energy healing, laying on of hands. A lot of that stuff, it's the same thing. They were ancient methodologies that we knew we could do. And I've done the things, Ron's done the things. I did some, I'm maybe privately we could talk about some of the things that I did, but I did some things. They weren't bad. Okay. So don't think that I did anything bad or wrong, but to a degree, think that I burned my juices up.
Remember that time you destroyed the whole universe? Oh wait,
Yeah,
no, that was Galactus. I'm
that was
sorry.
Galactus. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I've confused you.
And I think it to a degree I might have burned my fuse up a little with a couple of the things, but yeah. So I don't. Anyway, another topic for another time. I'm rabbit trailing here. So Anita says, I got into pondering the nature of reality and have the divine abilities of all human through Richard Bach. Oz says, oh, Joe and Ron manifested each other and now they're besties. Pretty much. It's kind of how that worked.
Kind of weird.
It wasn't really that we manifested each other. It was more that we were thrown together, and it wound
something.
It wound up being like magnets. And once we smacked into each other, it was like,
yeah.
Now we're stuck.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's how it worked. But that's again, I'm sure it's worked with a lot of people like that over the years, right?
Yeah, people that just find each other, and it just happens to.
Well, there's about 45 of them that come here every Thursday.
Right. Every Thursday, right?
So true. I think we've demonstrated this multiple times now. It's not synchronicity; it happens every Thursday. It's a repeatable
says, matter and energy can't be destroyed, but it can be manipulated and changed.
Mm-hmm.
Tony says, hello there, Team Big Rock. Yes.
Well, no, it's 0 now.
I know, right? What I tell you guys,
it's going to do that. Yeah, it's going to do that.
It was going to come to 0, and then in like 6 or 8 months, it's going to start ticking back up, and then it'll go to 0 again.
Then they'll be like, "Oh, we lied. It's actually Apophis that's going to hit. We're all dead." No. But
it's going to be a planet destroyer.
Actually, it can't, because all we have to do is just not fall for that. And this is another thing that I want to touch. There are studies that do suggest, and whether you believe that we can affect reality, as in the actual matter of reality, like I have a cup of water. If I think, am I going to turn it into wine? I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. I don't have that much energy. But
theoretically, something could use you to do it.
Yeah, theoretically,
I don't have enough energy to raise the dead, but I've been there.
But it can happen. That's the whole thing. You are a conduit. But here's the thing. We have to be careful what we think, and we have to be careful with other people who make us think things. Because, I'm trying to stay away from that again, some of the terminologies, because the terminologies are so taboo to some people.
Right.
But
and you don't, with culture being the way it is.
That's the whole thing, right? That's their problem. You see, we've built the Tower of Babel is what we've done. And it's like, oh, don't say that. Don't say that. But it's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. So you have to be careful, because
fundamentally it's the same.
Yeah. Thing. If it affects you mentally, it's affecting you. Okay. So I'll give you an example. I'm watching the news. I don't usually watch the news. I'll just be straight up with you. That's the healthiest thing that you can possibly do. I'm watching the news. I see something really bad that makes me angry. It's an immediate anger response. Okay. That might affect me. That might make me go do something at that point. Now, it didn't directly do that, did it? It wasn't programmed to do that, but it did. It changed something in here. That might affect me to the point to where, I don't know, maybe I didn't do something I was supposed to do. Maybe I drove the wrong way that day. And maybe, there was another person who I was supposed to meet. I didn't meet them. There are things like this.
Yeah.
That can affect reality in those ways too. So we're not talking about just literally, alchemy, changing materials to another material. We're not talking about molecular, deconstruction and recomposition. We're talking about literally the ability for these outside or external forces to change us, which in turn change another. And it's a cascade effect, and it just dominoes down the line. And pretty soon, everybody's in a miserable mood.
Yep.
Works the other way around too. Why do you guys think that the news years ago, when we were growing up, Joe, you might remember this. There were usually at the end of the news, it was NBC actually. At the end of it, they would always put this little positive, uplifting story. It was there.
Yeah.
and then it disappeared. Well, it disappeared somewhere right around the time we had the Gulf War, if I remember correct.
It was a little after that. It
wasn't far.
It was after the Oklahoma bombing.
It was somewhere. Yeah, you're right. It was sometimes around in there that it
so
just kind of
so much coverage was dedicated to that bombing that segment was gone because they literally covered that for months.
Well, the problem being that generated probably revenue. We know that now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, because bad news travels fast,
Oh yeah.
Fake stuff travels way faster than real stuff. Let's just put it that way. So that's affecting people. I remember when they first started Facebook back in the day. They did the experiment where they showed certain people. Remember that they were they showed them positive images, and then they showed another select group negative images. This is when the algorithm was first starting. When they did that, they proved that they were changing, these people's social behavior, the social construct. So, yeah, things can affect reality very easily that you have really almost no control over. That's why it's really important to be mindful and to meditate and to, pray or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter as long as you center yourself. That's important, I think.
Joe says he just reported Ron for drinking wine on YouTube.
Watch. This is a magical one. So, can you read it?
I do not care.
Yeah, it's also empty.
Oh man. Yeah, we let's hit some of these comments here.
Yes, get them.
So Octopus says, minds opening other minds to the fact that the universe is a gigantic mind that loves us and cares about what we need. Kenny Hess says archaeologists have discovered that Göbekli Tepe dated back to an estimated 12,000 years ago and has columns with zodiac symbols.
Mm-hmm. And Turan Tepe is 15,000.
Yep. And they buried Göbekli Tepe because they said, "Oh, hey, we've learned everything we've needed."
Hmm?
Octopus said, and that has an infinitely cascading effect. It really does. What you said here, it does have an infinitely cascading effect. Beth says it's called abduction taxis. LMAO, they take us wherever timeline we request.
If you got the fare, I guess, the right fare.
Right. Then Dances says, I've never manifested anything, but had tons of premonitions.
Are you sure? That's the question. See, I never thought that either, Dances. I want to tell you what got me down this track. A year ago, if you talked to me about this, I'd be like, you're crazy. Okay. My best friend, she believes in all this stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about, Joe. I'm talking about Christina. And for some of the theories that she has are out there, granted, but when she starts talking about manifestation and all this stuff, believe. Well, I've seen her do this herself. And I'm like, how? No one can do this. She did it, And I literally just started trying to stay positive. And I think you've noticed that as much as well, Joe. It's like I've had my moments, of course, where I don't stay positive, but
right.
I have maintained positiveness in ways that I would never have stayed before, simply because, I'm actually believing that at this point, if you give in to the dark side, it's true. It'll consume you, right? I mean, that's a fact at this point, I think. And if you do give into those negative thoughts, who knows what's going to happen? It's not good. In a case in point, you guys don't even know. You had no clue how serious the incident with the computer was. You have no idea how serious that incident was. But the show went on. Mm-hmm. It went on because I tried to stay positive. And I thank God every day for Fortnite.
Uber says, I've done what I call an energy pull. I can't do it all the time, but pull anxiety and more recent headache from people.
Oh, yeah.
Gary says, I cannot control my own reality, let alone manifest anything. Plan, adapt, react, and evolve. Yeah, I mean that is the main courses of survival is plan, adapt, react, and evolve. And we've just got to move forward with some of that. Tony says that Tolkien believed in the idea of mythopia. The idea that we are sub-creators who specifically create other realities. So Middle Earth might actually exist out there somewhere in the multiverse. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you were talking about what you're talking about, Joe, with the what you wrote, mine was literally diagrams, and it was an infinite number of lines, infinitely replicated, and that's literally the multiverse. That's the representation of the multiverse.
Similar to what I saw as well, because I specifically during meditation asked one time, what is this about? What is this? And what I saw was it started off as a 2D image, and it looked like the mortar in brick. Like, you've got the gray lines between the brick.
Right.
And
that's what
then all of a sudden
like this.
It turned. It turned sideways, and I'm looking at it as a straight. Well, I was looking at it as a straight line, and then it turned sideways, and then I saw the mortar. I saw what looked like bricks, right? And they were interconnecting. It wasn't all straight lines, but then it turned again, and when it turned again, all of a sudden there were now different angles and branching going everywhere, and then it turned this way. So the first time it went from being a straight line this way, and then it turned, and the next time it turned, it did a full 180, and you saw everything else. And then it went from this 180 shift that way, and you saw everything else. And then it rotated again front ways at me, and it just turned into this massive circular thing that was all interconnected and looked like a vascular system or a nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's interpretations, but it's all the same message, like
so what was yours like?
Mine was just a literal, see, when I see things like that, it's flashes, it's symbols, it's just, they're there, and then sometimes they manifest themselves in art. But mine was almost like, I would compare it to music notes. I would compare it to just line after line after line after line, but there were branches that connected all those lines. So all those lines touched other lines. And then if you really got into it and thought about that, those lines are our decisions and our choices. They were infinite. Every single one was infinite. I'll have to find it and show it to you one day. It's scribbled down in one of the books that you can't read, but you can see the symbols, where I drew up.
Terri says the church I went to when I was young would anoint handkerchiefs with oil and pray over them for people, give them out. Yeah, that was a very common practice. Now, what I did very similar things to that. But I did a more first century church application where I would actually tear part of my clothes and rip a part of my clothes, and we would anoint that and then send it or give it to somebody. Because that's what they did back in the day. They would take a part of their robe and they just rip it. And Beth says, I think our spirits, or whatever you want to call it, subconsciously feel the other person they connect with. Yeah, I agree with that. Oz says, I was at a place and a guy was doing free Reiki, and he had me close my eyes, and I felt him touching my face with his hands. After he was done, I opened my eyes and I said, I thought you were not going to touch me. And my husband was standing right next to me and said, he never touched you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can definitely do a few little things with that. Energy is real. Wait, what? L.W. Marshall?
Brother.
Gosh. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, brother. I've actually been meaning to text you all day, and every time I went to get my phone, something happened and pulled me away from it. So it's good to see you here tonight, man.
Well, did it or did it pull him to us tonight? See, that's what I'm saying when people say, "Well, I've never done it." Well, I bet you have. You just don't think about it. It's kind of like remote viewing. I pretty much proved that with so many people. I bet you have. You just didn't know that's what it was. You're thinking about somebody and they call, things like that. We call it psychic phenomena, but it's deeper than psychic phenomena. What if it's not psychic phenomena? What if it's literally manipulation of the actual fabric of reality? And then you get into some weird stuff. We're talking about multiverse theory. We've got those people who are saying, everything's a simulation. It's the Matrix, right? In real life. I don't know. I'm not going to call it either one, but I'm just going to say that there's something there that's happening.
Yeah.
We're interfacing with something.
Yep.
Kenny Hess just
I saw that. Anita said here, there's a reason the old masters used to retreat to caves and mountaintops away from people.
Yes.
100%. 100%.
Yes.
And that was something that I used to do as well. Kenny Hess, and I still like to, don't get me wrong, but I just don't have the time as much. Kenny Hess, thank you, brother. We appreciate you so much. Oh,
multiple thank yous, Kenny. Thank you so much. How close are we now, Joe? Is that like 6 or something?
Give me 1 second. I gotta jump over and
you had a good point there. And again, you don't realize this stuff until you later and you look back at what you did. Like I spent a lot of time.
We're at 6.
That's what I figured. I spent a lot of time back in the woods on top of a rock outcrop. That's where I spent a lot of my time. I was meditating. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just going up there and listening to the wind, and closing my eyes and breathing in and breathing out. And, that it was pretty nice. Let's just put it that way.
LW is asking if anybody's going to Frogman. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it. I know that's this weekend, but if you're going to Frogman, sound off down below and let
Froggy. Y'all put it up
know
there.
You're going to be there so you can go give each other some big old hugs.
Yep.
Beth says meditation and learning how to breathe through the problem, manifesting what we want and to push the problem away, push forth what you want to manifest.
Yeah. See, and people are listening to that and they're like, this is new age nuts. This is crazy. And it's not. I used to think that. I'm telling you, that's not what this is. There's something so much different. Again, the lexicons have failed us, just like you said before, Joe. They've failed us on so many levels as far as it goes.
Absolutely. Language has if nothing else, the story of the Tower of Babel was
perfect.
A tale of how language has failed us.
Yep.
Let's see.
We got to go in there.
Jen says I started doing Gateway. It seems like some of the other energies are blocked. I don't know. May advise or advice.
What is
there? Go ahead, Ron.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. You had this.
There can be things that are blocked, right? We often, I feel like I'm standing on a pulpit. We often aggravate the flow.
Yep.
And the blocks, think of the blocks as dams within ourselves and things that we have to remove and get out of the way. And once you're free of those things, normally you'll notice a way that this stuff begins to move through you more freely and without the flow being aggravated. Ron?
I mean, you hit it. We are our own blocks. We are, that's what I was talking about with the negativity that you're bombarded with all the time and the worries and all this. And it's okay. You can be worried. You can, but you've got to find time to breathe. You've got to find time to be, and you've got to take time to understand that you are here right now. Okay. That's it. This is the only time you're going to be here right now in this form. Okay. Make the most of that.
Yep.
This affects
your life
you.
to death.
This is you, okay? This is you this time. You might come back and do something else some other time, but that's somebody else. It's your energy. Yeah, you're in there somewhere, but the closest analogy I can do is Doctor Who. That's literally the closest analogy I can come to it.
Transformation.
Transformation. Exactly. You are the same you, but you're different.
NW Hall says possibly our thoughts are like radio frequency, and that's why those things happen. Like thinking of someone and they text, etc. The two people are on the same tuning. I don't really know though. I mean, it's just as good a guess as any. NW. That's just it. Like we, without getting full into the whole religious aspects of things and me, the way I used to, the stuff that I would preach and the teachings I used to, that I still live by, that I still apply to my own life and will help other people apply to theirs. But without going into those things that can drive out a lot of people in this kind of scenario because of lack of understanding for the most part, I'll say that you're going in the right direction there, NW. Ashley Hilt says, I'm the MC at Frogman, and I'll be speaking on Saturday about Indrid Cold. Hey, that's very apropos, especially seeing as how your book just released.
Do we have a graphic of Ashley's book, by the way, that we can put up here?
The only
let me go grab one. Let me go. You guys,
I tried getting it earlier, and when I brought it over from onto my phone, it like blew out the pixels. Like it got real fuzzy.
Let me find it.
Okay.
I had it the other day.
The cover art's fantastic.
I love that throwback cover art. That was really cool. That's
Tony's going to be at Frogman Festival too.
Okay. LW. So there's a few people going to be there.
Ashley says we'll get Ron and Joe at Frogman one of these days. Yeah, they just got to
eventually
get a hold of us. Have them get a hold of us, and we'll work something out.
We got to have a little bit of time though before that's the thing.
Yeah, we were. We were asked about coming, to come set up in Vend if we wanted to do it, but it was like a month ago. We didn't have any time to prepare, or we had organized enough for it.
Not to mention we're still working on some other things.
Yeah, we're still working on Paranormal.
Still knee deep in all that, guys. So bear with us.
We can see the light in the tunnel, though.
Not really. It's just you know what that light is. I think it's an explosion.
It could be.
It's an explosion.
It could be the big rock.
No, it's well, maybe you keep thinking that crap. That's what's going to happen. So
fingers crossed. Alex says chakras.
Same thing. Something to focus on.
Yep, something to focus on. That's really what that is.
I mean, I use it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I absolutely visualize chakras because it helps to focus. And if you do it right, your brain is doing some really serious work at that point, and that's how it works. Without analyzing it to death. Again, but whatever helps you get there. It's basically what it comes down to. Let's see.
Oz says the Monroe Institute Gateway tapes are guided meditations that train your brain to different wave states that produce different experiences. Yep.
Not only that, they train your brain to it, and it's almost like a mnemonic device. Like to tell you right now, I've never done them. I taught myself, but I can go into that state simply because I remember a specific frequency. And that's what it does. It trains you to remember that specific frequency. And once you remember that frequency, you're there. You can do it. So,
and it's the same thing with prayer. Prayer and meditation, same words, used synonymously. And what I used to call it, the way I used to teach it to people, was it is a well-worn path. There it is.
I got it. There you go, Joe. Pop it up there. There we go.
Once you know the way there, it's easy to get back. So there it is. Indrid Cold, searching for the man from Lamielle. It's
that cover. Look at that cover. That's a classic old cover, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
Right?
I dig it.
Yeah.
I like the watercolor.
I love that.
LR, hope you feel better, man. Stomach bugs kicking your butt for days. Go ahead, man. Get you some rest. Then Beth says, I was just talking to my friend that I was having a block and what I was wanting. And wow, that was good, Joe. Just visualize exploding the dams. Yeah. Yeah. But the first thing you need to visualize and understand is what those dams are. You know, you can visualize blowing them up all you want, but until you're ready for the process, you have the pit, the process, the promotion. There are 3 steps to getting these things away and out of your life. And you go into it, you have to acknowledge and find what those problems are, what got you into the block in the first place, understand what those blocks are and why they're there and how to remove them, get rid of them and be done with them, and move forward and learn and know from what you have garnered from this time in the pit. Tony says the spice must flow, blockheads. God. Kenny Hess said, study different ways of meditation and find one that fits. Yeah.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely.
Then Anita says, basement of the Monroe Institute smelled like the aquarium section of a pet store.
Huh. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, that depending on if you would have came to the pet store that Ron and I worked at, that was the cleanest smelling section in the store.
Mm-hmm.
You could have drank that water. It was so clean. It was cleaner than what was coming out of the
totally. Yeah, you totally drank that water.
We had such a good culture going in those things, man. That system was just living, was longevity.
I remember the day it overflowed because you were talking to some girls.
Yeah.
This is my favorite story, and I'm going to tell everybody. This is a great story. We're going to go off track just for a second because I saw it in my head. I had one of those flashes, like I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Because I can still see that tank overflowing. And to put this into a frame of reference for you, this tank is a massive hexagon.
It's over here in my basement now. I have it.
Yeah, he did. He ended up buying it. It's a massive hexagon tank. That thing is, what is it, like 6 feet wide?
375 gallons. It's 5 feet.
Five.
Like the hexagon panels are 5 feet from each other.
Yeah. It's massive. It's huge. Yeah. And I was doing a water change on this thing. And I was pouring the water in this thing. We had a Python, which was a pump.
We're using a Python.
A Python filler. It's not a snake. It's a pump. It's a water hose.
It's a 50-foot long water hose with a siphon function, so you can clean and then shut the siphon off and reverse water feed back in.
Yeah, water feeds, don't it, Joe?
Yeah.
So it's filling up, and I got busy with customers, and he's supposed to be watching this, but no, he's talking to these girls who came in, trying to sell him something. Apparently, I don't know what he's doing, but either way, all I know is I walk back there and I hear this, what sounds to me like
I was trying to sell him something. All right.
He was. I hear what sounds like the gentle sound of cascading water. And I'm like, wait a minute. We don't have a water fountain feature in this store. No, we didn't have that, but we had water coming over the top of that thing on all sides of this hexagon. And I mean, it was flooding the place. It was literally pouring out like a waterfall.
I pulled 2 shop vacs full of water.
Oh, yeah.
So it's about 50 some gallons.
Oh, easy. Absolutely easy. And I'm just back there listening. I hear this sound of water and I'm like, what is that? Oh God. I walk up and actually I knew what it was because as soon as I turned the corner and I stepped in water because the water was probably a 1/4 inch deep in the store at that point.
Yep.
That was a fun time. It was a fun time.
Oh man, that was.
Anyways, back on track. Sorry, guys.
NW Hall says, could these blocked energies be temporarily become unblocked with certain practices? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And a lot of the times these blocks, again, it's our own fault. It's our own frustration in the flow. And if we get back into that mindset, if we fall back into that, then the dam starts to, it's just like any dam. You put the block in and the pressure builds behind it. And then all of a sudden now you're You're stuck back in the old ways again. See how
Yeah.
all of these terminologies and all
Water.
these sayings are coming out and they start
Yeah.
to make sense.
Yeah. It's like this. So I don't know how to explain it. Well, it's frequency. It's frequency, and you have to kind of, like someone had said it earlier. It's like a radio. You tune the frequency.
Yeah, that was
Everybody's got a
NWS.
different one. Okay, there you go. So everyone's got just a different frequency, right? And once you figure out how to turn that and tune that radio to that frequency, you're there. You can do it.
Yeah. Then let's see. Octopus says some of my favorite Star Wars novel and life advice moments come to mind. Choose and act. Think it through, make your choice, and follow through. Granted, that advice does come from an undercover Sith.
That's funny.
The Sith were the real good guys. Then let's see. Boone Fullwood. What's going on, brother?
Where did he
Long
come
time
from?
no see. Haven't been here in a long time. I finally have some time off to check in. It's good to see you too, man. Thanks for jumping in, brother. We miss you, man. It's been too long.
Where did he come from?
It just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah, I see that.
Then let's see. Anita's talking about the basement. The room with wood paneling, brown carpet with cushions to sit, and around 8 million tape sound decks all along the wall. If you've ever been in an old closed up beach house, it's that humid smell. Yep, I know that smell.
Oh no, Ashley. The fish were smart, unlike Joe.
Right?
Yeah, the fish were incredibly smart. We didn't lose a single fish during that. Nope. Didn't lose a single one of them.
At the time, that tank had a bunch of big pond mollies in it.
Mm-hmm. And guppies. There's guppies in there too.
Yeah, and that's right. Yeah, once you get guppies in that system, there was no getting them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were.
Those mollies were awesome too. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah. No, we didn't lose any fish, which was amazing. I guess they figured out there's a storm. I'm going down low. I don't know. But yeah, it was, I can still hear it.
Octopus says I flooded Petco a few times.
There you go.
Haven't we all done that? I thought flooding your work was normal personally. The bad thing is we did it more than once.
Yeah. There's a lot of floods at those places. That's all I can say about that.
The worst one was the one in the back.
Yeah, it was bad.
So in the back of this building, again, side rail, we had it was like what, 600, 700 gallons of aquaculture tubs.
It was huge. Yeah.
So there were 3, 6, 7, 8, 825 gallon tubs plus the 2 filters.
8 or 9. Yeah. And the sump, the massive sump too.
Yeah. The big sump was a 300 tub.
Yes.
But anyway, it was saltwater and it was coral aquaculture. And that thing one time it backed up. One of the drains got backed up because it was all interconnected and it flooded. And then you want to talk about the smell for days. It took forever to get that out. NW says the fish were yelling at Joe.
I was yelling at him. I don't want the fish.
Oh, man. Way of the Sploot has arrived.
Welcome. Welcome aboard.
I see that PS5 controller on the thing there. You need
to, that is.
If you play Fortnite, look us up. We'll go trios somewhere. Jen says, when I worked all day for someone started filling out the floor scrubber, I forgot in the morning, and when they came in, half the store was flooded. Oh, glad I was off those 2 days.
Man, oh man, man.
Okay,
so back to reality and changing it. Yeah. So you guys are familiar. I mean, you've heard us talk about this, right? The Philip experiment, right? You remember this?
Oh yeah, I remember the film. We did a show on it.
It was part of. Yeah, we talked about it, And for those who don't know what that was it was a parapsychological experiment that was conducted. And what they did was they literally created a experiment in which they they were going to have a seance and contact this ghost. Now, the thing is, the ghost didn't exist. They made it up. It was a fictional character. So they gave this person, his name was Philip Aylesford, and they gave him like this whole backstory, just
He had a
created this full
full
backstory.
backstory, and
Mhm.
one of them was a screenwriter.
I don't know.
So
I can't remember that.
well,
May-
that's the person that created the entire backstory. So when you take into consideration this backstory was so thorough, they had a background in it, so they knew what they were doing. They created a real
they created a real living, almost living person here. It's like he had a history. They went down to his wife. She was accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake in like 1654. Like there was just this massive amount of data that they dumped into this story. And so the group they got around the table. They did the séance, and the weird thing starts happening. They start making contact with Philip. Okay. And they reported that there was actually manifestations of things moving, not like apparitions. They never saw him, but things moved. There was psychokinetic things happening and very strange stuff. And it escalated. Now, critics will tell you that there wasn't enough control, and the results were not that great. But here's the thing. What they don't tell you typically is that it wasn't just the Philip experiment. These guys did this a couple of times. They did it with, they created a Lilith and a Humphrey, and they had similar effects with those creations as well. A lot of people talk about this and give credit to the Tulpa effect.
Yep, the Tulpa.
Yeah, that's where we're talking about it, I think.
Yep.
And, again, critics say that these repeated tests didn't matter. It was, they yielded similar results, but the circumstances were just deemed inconclusive. It sounds a lot like what the CIA said about remote viewing.
Yep.
Yeah. But the thing is, we interpret that, and so do other, paranormal investigators and whatnot. We look at that through the lens of, well, it's Tulpa. And it's like, well, how does the Tulpa work? Well, one could say that what you literally saw there was called, today we call a prompt.
Yep. Right.
Right. So they literally prompted reality to create this thing, and thus it became. What does that sound like to anyone here besides you, Joe? What does that sound like to you? First one gets the right answer, gets a blessing.
Anita Allen says egregore will conform to a strong enough belief structure and take on its traits.
Egregore requires a massive amount of people to believe, right? Yeah.
That's an egregore would be the
Santa.
The rake. Or Santa. Yeah, the rake.
Or Santa rake.
Siren head. Yeah, Santa rake. There we go. That's what I'm gonna make for Christmas this year.
It's
Cryptid
coming.
Con Santa rake original sculpture with polymer clay. It's happening.
See, that's how creation works. It's probably how it all started, guys. The Big Bang, just like that. Watch this. Boom. Yeah. Anyway.
Way of the Salute said that sounds like naming an object or an entity.
Well, it is, but think about it in the terms. Whoa. Somebody got it. I saw it. Up. Octo. Blessings. Blessings be. Free blessing, Joe.
That's what I'm doing.
Yes, exactly.
Innate, ubiquitous, universal AI.
But there's something to this, and it sounds like, oh, you're nuts, right? Not really, because recently, what happened with that computer, that supercomputer, Joseph? You remember that?
Yeah, so we're also going to do another long format episode concerning AI developments and some of these other things in a modern. When I say modern, like we didn't cover it 2 years ago, but we're going to cover it with the possibility of quantum computing. This new chip.
Hang on,
Okay.
I got the link for him. I'm going to put it up there.
Okay, this is not. This is a direct quote from this link. It is so powerful that when it is using its computing power, it is using power from other dimensions to compute.
Now, that's what one theory says, because they couldn't explain how this thing did what it did. And what it did was it solved a problem, a computational problem that should have taken, well, let me find it for you. It's phenomenal, the amount of years that it should have took. Oh, where's it at? Time frame. It was unsolvable by any human time frame. Oh, here it is. It was approximately 10 septillion years. That's how long it should take you to solve this thing.
This problem.
However,
if we started it on my computer right now, 10 septillion years.
That's what it's going to take. But it only took 5 minutes. So the theory is that it pulled that somehow, possibly through quantum tunneling, into these other dimensions or multiverses, where it was working on this, solving this problem literally in the background in all these multiple universes. And then it brought them all together. That's absolutely mind blowing if you think about the possibilities of where that leads to.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%. Now, going back to the egregore and tulpa thing, Ashley says the rake's a little more complicated. Those strange gray humanoid things have been around for a long before the internet. Yes.
Mm-hmm. The gray things have.
Yeah. The gray things have. The rake hasn't. The gray things and the rake, I would argue that they're different things, just because I've never found a story of one of the gray things that had the appearance of a rake that chased somebody down on a horse rather than a car and took the horse down or left physical markings. The gray humanoid things always seemed to be more like background figures in history rather than these aggressive, I'm gonna rip you apart, chase you down kind of things. At least based off, like, we did an episode on those, I think like 4 years ago, and that was right around the time that it started getting, the rake became a buzzword thing, and that was, at that time I couldn't find anything older than the creepypasta kind of stuff that was the large gray pale humanoid like thing that was hyper aggressive, other than, someone suffering from Wendigo psychosis. Sasquatch Paranormal Wineberry Holler. You've got the longest name, Beth. Okay, if you think about it, who would have been giving it the answers? That's scary. Talking about the quantum chip. The thought is that it was giving itself the answers.
In multiple universes at the exact same time.
In multiple universes at the same time. Anita says, Ron, I'm still sitting on a paper in peer review right now that will absolutely mind boggle and terrify you.
Oh, it might. It's possible. It's possible. I've seen some weird stuff at this point. Nothing surprises me.
Tony says the AI that solved the math problem via quantum tunneling is a problem. Didn't Skynet utilize time travel too?
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we just need to wait for the AI to show up naked in a crater and start beating people up. Then we're really in trouble. Then, yeah, there we go. We're caught up now.
We're caught up? All right.
Okay. So the shifting and changing realities using your mind, using consciousness. We know that they're using consciousness to contact these craft. That's the modality that has been stated over and over again. It has been something that has been echoed previously before this ever broke by Lou Elizondo. It was mentioned by Bob Lazar, saying that these things somehow were, connected to you being your consciousness. David Grush had mentioned that these things used certain levels of consciousness to pilot and control them. This is not, in regards to UFO, this is nothing really new. So where do we go with this now? Because now it's being talked about. Before it was just, kind of in passing. But now they're coming out and they're like, hey.
Well, I think we go down the speculative rabbit hole and we look at what I had brought up there just a little bit ago. Let's look at what they found with that computer, because that is interesting to me. We talked about this before. We talked about how AI just kind of came on their scene about the same time that we got this, UFO video, the TikTok, right? And how it was kind of figuring out where Fravor was going to be flying, and it was predicting his moves, and I remember thinking, that's AI. That's an AI system. We had that conversation, and the thing is, back then it wasn't that. It was a little too far out.
Well, one of the things we had mentioned AI, and then we had also mentioned that this thing was psychically reading,
connected to his mind. Yeah. So those are the only two options you had. But what if it's the same option?
Right.
What if I don't have to touch my keyboard? I can just type right now by thinking it. What if I can fly my vehicle that way, drive my car that way?
Yeah.
Interface with it. We talked about this before too, like the stuff that happened at Skinwalker Ranch, for example, when the electronics go down.
Yeah.
This is before it happened to us, by the way.
Right.
But specifically at Skinwalker, when they had some of their machines that were going down, these were digital machines. It was like something was rewriting the code in those things.
Yeah.
How would it know to do that unless it already had part of the source, or was part of the source?
Or it learned the source really fast.
Or it learned the source. Yeah, exactly. The Borg, right?
Quantum computing.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. You have to look at those kind of things. That's the kind of world that we are now in. We told you it was going to get weird. We didn't lie. We told you the post-disclosure world would be very strange and scary. It is.
Way of the Sploot. So if quantum tunneling is established through AI, can it be mapped and duplicated? I would imagine so.
I bet it can. We probably can't. No.
Like it could, but would we even understand it?
No. Like, that's the thing, what you just said, Wade. It's almost like the AI, it has processing power to be able to do that. It would need to map time itself and all possibilities of time. That's insane.
Well, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier with, what you saw being the multiverse and what I saw being this nervous system like ball.
Yep.
That would be mapping all of that.
Right. That's insane. That's what I'm getting at. It's like this doesn't fit into their normal everyday thought process.
Power Band said this is some Rick and Morty episodes. It really is. It's like it seems that way. Jen says, are these the chips that they want to build their very own nuclear reactors to run?
No, that's a good question.
It is.
I think, right? And that they were saying that it had to have its own power source because it was going to pull so much.
Well, currently it's got a dedicated like building that is its cooling fan.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's the heat dampener. And but it needs its own massive power source to be able to run. Now the nuclear reactor that they're wanting to build is for a building full of servers that would need that kind of power. Now what how many would they be able to put of that quantum chip in there? I have no idea. But I do think it's weird that those new nuclear powered eggs, right? What are the odds, right?
Yeah, it's all interesting, right?
Nuclear powered eggs can power your home for 10 years.
Now we know why the price of eggs has really gone up, folks.
Right? These chickens are laying Godzilla eggs.
Nuclear powered eggs. Forget the golden egg.
Right?
Yeah.
Now it's the nuclear egg.
Nuclear egg.
It's not the nuclear football anymore. It's a nuclear egg.
Nuclear egg. Got to be careful dropping those things. But so, yeah. I mean, the question comes down to this. Is there any proof of being able to actually manipulate reality? Any actual proof? Well, there was a study done, and the guys kind of looked at by science as a pseudoscientist, but heck, aren't we all? So I think that we have to put that on the table, don't you?
Yep.
The thing is, there was a scientist who did this. Let me find his name for you. Now we'll get you a link. Here we go. I think this is it. Is that it? Well, maybe it's not it. Multiverse criticism. Goes. Yep, here it is. No, that's not it. Sorry. I lied to you all. It's right here. I found it. Okay, so give me that link. Give me that link.
Tony says, I'm pretty sure those nuclear eggs are Doctor Who episodes waiting to happen. 100%. That's the first thing that I thought too, man.
So go ahead.
Slovene.
You can have a look at that little bit there. There's a lot longer version. I'm not going to go into all of it, but basically it's a little story about a Dr. Masura Emoto. He actually was said that he changed the structure of water, the molecular structure of water. And he did so by intention, thoughts, and he influenced it directly towards the water. And then when he studied it, he noticed there were symmetrical crystalline structures that were literally in the water, which is kind of interesting because his control was supposedly not. So when they froze the water, they could see different structures and whatnot in this water. Read it. It's detailed. It's interesting. But again, they think he's, they think he was pseudoscientist. They don't take it for credit.
They think he's pseudoscientist. However, scientists
yeah
have recently discovered that what we thought electrons were aren't electrons. They're particles, but that these electrons move around in not like a circular motion or like what we call this cloud, but they move in and out of the dimensions. They are there one moment and then they're gone.
That's right.
Completely.
They pop.
And they think that they've also observed, they have also observed that these electrons only are there whenever we're looking at them. And then when we're not observing them, they're no longer there anymore.
So that's almost like the double slit experiment, right?
Yeah.
That's quantum theory. That's quantum physics. Basically you shoot the electrons down the split as you're observing them, physically observing them. They do something completely different than when they're not observed, which, how does that work? It's neither here nor there. It's both at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. But we do seem to be able to manipulate, edit the code of reality itself at times.
Yeah. I said maybe this is why you're supposed to pray over your food. Good vibe food.
It is.
No vibe food.
It is, literally. That is exactly what it's for.
It originated historically back when like we were eating food that was rotten and we didn't know if it was going to kill us. And so they would pray over the food and ask for the food to be blessed so that it wouldn't kill us and wouldn't make you sick. Octopus with no friends. That's why when you close your eyes, you enter the main. Yes. So, like, does everybody else see all the rainbows and colors and like explosions and stuff when you close your eyes? Isn't that fun?
No, it's just you. No, absolutely. Everybody, most people do. It's, according to science, that's just your blood vessels inside your eyes.
Right.
But it is interesting that some of those light flashes and so forth do tend to pull you in a little farther.
Oh, they do.
Times.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Way says, I wish Tesla were alive today. This makes me think of all the experiments and ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to say this, though. He would absolutely lose his mind over the fact that to turn this on, I have to plug it into electrical source. He would flip out if he saw that, if he were alive today. He'd be like, but that's no. Then let's see. Tony says, if a quantum particle falls in the forest and no one is there to see it, did it happen? Oz said, yep, there's a name for that geometry when you close your eyes. Then Trackway says, really? When I close my eyes to sleep, I usually see faces. Well, that's creepy. Are you taking Benadryl before you go to sleep?
Trackway?
Well,
sometimes that happens. I'm just saying that's right.
The ancestors are gathering around like, not today.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that happens.
Soon.
Sometimes.
Oh man. Let's see. Okay, so with the way this is flowing, right? The way that we're seeing this work in the UFO community, there's more and more people. You've got people who call it CE5. You've got people who call it, like us, contact experiments. There are because the methodologies are different.
Contact modality. It's all the same. This is
the modality is the same. The methodology is where it gets
methodology changes. Yeah.
Methodologies change.
Yeah. And I think I've said it multiple times because someone had said something over on it's one of the videos there, a small town on Paranormal Horizons, and they had said something about they liked how Joe and Jesse did their stuff and we did our stuff different, but you seem to be getting the same results. I said, yeah, it's we're doing the same thing. We're going to the same destination. We're just in different vehicles.
Yeah,
that's literally what's happening at this point. And there's a lot of people on that highway, I think, personally. At this point.
There's more people doing this now than ever. Now that number's still low, just because of some of the technology you've got to have to chase some of this stuff. Now you can go out there in zero gravity chairs and goose froball your way to a UFO if you want, but to be able to actually analyze and go over the data to generate real data, you've got to have hardware.
Let's talk about that for just a second, though, and forget the data because, like you just said, I see this summer a lot of kids who are bored, who used to sit around and play with Ouija boards, etc., going out because these Skywatch guys are doing it. We're going to go out. We saw this, and let's try to contact the UFOs. Let's think now about that egregore thing that was brought up here. Let's think now about this interfacing with reality, quantum physics, quantum mechanics. You are creating this. The more our minds do this, we even tried that experiment here and it may have worked for all we know. We had results, didn't we? We had some lights that manifested themselves. It was 3 lights, just like the 1, 2, 3, the whole thing. This is more than just coincidence. I don't know what it is. Call it as scary physics. Call it what you want to call it, but there's something very strange that's taking place here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to label it. I won't label it. I'll just call it by all the different names that everyone else calls it and say, look, guys, you're probably talking about the same thing here.
Yep. It's all going back to the root of it at the very, very base. it's the same thing, different words.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's literally what's happening here. So let's get some people's comments on this. This is it's a deep topic, and don't feel like you're going to hurt anyone's feelings. Talk. That's what we do here. We have discourse, and it's good. These
Yeah.
people are awesome. If you're a first timer, be sure to hit that like, that subscribe, and please jump in the conversation. Like I said, these people are good. We have we have the most incredible group of people on the internet, as far as I'm concerned.
Tony Breeden, plot twist: Blue Beam's false flag alien event spawns an egregore.
Oh gosh, it already has. It already has.
Okay, so back to let's go back to the 0G chair sitting there and meditation, no hardware.
I wish I had a 0G chair. Can we get one, guys? We need you to. No, I'm kidding.
They're only like $60. We can get one.
I'm just messing with the people. Leave me alone.
They're not that comfortable though. I don't think they're that comfortable, but I'm 6'3", 265 pounds. So,
I mean, Adam just goes out and lays flat on his back out in the middle of the woods.
I am a go out and either lay down or typical meditation prayer pose. Bam. Go. I don't need a 0G chair. Like I can't get stable in a 0G chair. I think that's part of the problem. But now I go out there, you'd take me a cot, an old military cot, and slap that out there. Baby, I'll lay down in the middle of that field. Ain't gonna be no meditation done though. I'm gonna get some of the best sleep I've had in months. So you can go out and people can do this stuff, and they're like that's probably where are going to see more people than ever doing this. The data collection though, that's where there's not very many people doing it and conducting and collecting data. Most people are going out doing it, collecting stories. The stories are great. The stories are cool. Stories are fun. Like I want to know stuff that we can't see. I want to know stuff that we can't hear, stuff that we can't feel. I want to be able to measure those things and see what's going on and be able to paint a broader picture to understand things more.
Yeah. Yeah. This is weird stuff. And like you said, it's more interesting to look at that rather than nuts and bolts of things, isn't it? I mean,
I'm all for this. I'm seeing a nuts and bolts UFO. I'd be all for that too. That'd be cool. And I'm not totally convinced that these things aren't just nuts and bolts that
are powered by other things.
They're powered by other things, or they might just not be the same kind of nuts and bolts that we call nuts and bolts.
Right. Yeah, exactly. A different
metamaterial kind of stuff.
That one could call it that. One could call it that.
Yeah, one could call it metamaterial, and it could form by consciousness.
Yeah.
And behave and interact and do things. But
so no Skywatch update. Just to let you know, no Skywatcher update. Everything's quiet over on their page, their area for now. Yeah. But supposedly they are going to drop something soon. So
yep, that's what they said.
When they do, we will reconvene here and we will go.
Most likely when they do, we'll just refer you back to an episode that we've already released.
I got a feeling it'll be this one.
Yeah,
I just have a feeling that's what will probably take place, because I think that's the conversation. You remember several years ago when it's one of the discussions when they were talking about the paper. I forget who wrote it, and they said that there were strange aspects of the UAP phenomena that they just didn't want to talk about because it seemed too fanciful at the time. Yep. And then the one thing they did talk about was that TARDIS effect, where that one was bigger on the inside.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
And that kind of dropped.
And they called it, they're talking about the Tesseract too at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it all just kind of dropped away. Right. Here's the thing. I think this is that part, because they did ask at the time. They said, it'll be a few years. Let's get through this first. Let's try to digest this first.
Yep.
And now we have this. Guys, this has been planned for years at this point. Okay. All these guys are working in concert. It's a part of a bigger thing. I don't care if you believe them. I don't care if you think it's a psyop. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that. I am going to tell you this. What they're saying about the summoning or calling in or contact, based on what we have seen, based upon the data that we have seen personally, and that I know that others have seen personally, there's something to that.
There is, and there's also other elements.
Yeah.
As well. Like it goes beyond just meditation. It goes beyond just the actions going into it and calling these things or trying to communicate with these things. I feel very strongly that there are other elements at play that are responsible for some of the outcomes that we get. I don't know exactly how to put that.
Yeah.
And frame it out.
Yeah.
But I do feel historically there are certain aspects that if we look at our lives from earliest memory forward, there are similarities. There are, and anybody who has been in certain programs throughout their life, anybody who's been involved in certain things throughout their lives, all kind of have this congruency and these shared experiences. Even though they're not together, they have very similar experiences, and they have very similar cases revolving around them, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the times, particularly with what we're doing, when the meditation is thrown into the mix, it's just throwing the gasoline on the fire.
That's a good way to put that. It ups the level.
Yeah.
But look, it's burning brighter. I can see that a little bit more.
Yeah, it brings more attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got to be careful.
I agree with that. And that's something I will agree with, and we've said this before. Careful. Yeah, we've said this before. Now I'll tell you folks right now, the people who know me, and I've talked a little bit about it, if you go back and listen to some of our past ones, especially that old OBE episode that I did,
yeah,
you will hear stories that I tell about some of my experiences, and in which case I won't go deeply into it. Not yet. At some point I will. Let everybody else do that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to change someone's mind. I'm not here to make them believe anything or to go chase orbs in the desert or, whatever.
Look for the golden ones.
Right. We're not doing that. That's not what it's about, because I wasn't even sure what was going on. I'm just sure that there's something going on, and it's not evil. Okay. It's not bad. It's just is. It is part of our everyday existence, whatever this is. And we are just kind of tapping into it now. The majority of us. I did a long time ago. Joe did a long time ago. A lot of you have. A lot of the people here right now are here because of that.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part. But it's not crazy. It's just outside what you call normal. But you have to be careful, because it can definitely mess you up. Where do you think a lot of the cult leaders came from? They thought they were right.
Yeah.
Some of them were just egomaniacs and crazy, but but there are the ones who thought they were literally right. Right.
Thought they were right.
Right. Exactly.
And
so you gotta be careful.
You have to be careful. And there's
we won't talk about certain things. Let's just say that. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's certain things we don't talk about.
It's to be responsible. It's not because, you're just, you spill it. You know how they always do with who's Lou all the time, right? It's like, he knows, he just won't tell it. Did you ever think there's a reason? Now his might be because, he has secrecy agreements and whatnot. I don't have any of those. Mine is a secrecy agreement amongst myself that says, look, hang on, I'll show you. I'll show you why I won't. This is why I won't.
Yeah.
That's why I won't. He had a real experience. Don't get me wrong. But did he have the exact experience? Did he have that particular Did he have the knowledge base to make the conclusions that he made, which led others to believe the same thing? That's the problem. That's why we can't label this thing yet. The data's not there. That's my opinion. You can have your own.
Yeah. And for me, it's more of a part of, it's still very much a part of me, but I just don't talk about it publicly much. I'll have the conversation in private if somebody ever wants to, but publicly there's just so much that, like, yeah, just doing some of that stuff publicly, it's like setting off a landmine. And that's you just gotta be careful. Just gotta be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are methodologies, and I'm not saying from like I'm scared of doing it because of religious backlash or whatever. I don't care about that. There are things that if you start trying to do and you are not ready to do, you will do more damage than good. There is a level of preparation that needs to be made. And if you're not there and you haven't done that preparation and you dive in feet first, you're going to drown.
That's a good way to put it. That's a real good way to put it. And, if you don't drown, you're
going to get lost in the current.
Yeah, you will. And hopefully you'll get washed ashore and you'll figure it all out and you'll dry yourself off and say, I need to think about that because I can't swim yet.
Yeah.
And then you'll start figuring out how to dog paddle.
Power Band says, will we ever get the data?
It's a good question. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know that. I think the problem with that, Power, is if the data were showed to certain people, they would still deny it. It's going to be one of those kind of situations, I think. The people who know they'll see the data and they'll be like, oh my God, that's a confirmation because that's what it's really about. Right. And, again, we see multiple validations here all the time. It happens on constant basis, but the real skeptics, there'll never be enough data for those people. Not in my opinion.
Oh no, absolutely not.
No,
like the ones that are staunch, hardcore skeptics.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to do it.
No, you're not going to change any of their minds. No. It's going to be demons, or it's going to be, they're lying to us. They're just trying to control us.
Project, Pink Beam or, Purple Beam or
Project Thick Skull, more like it.
Holograms.
Anita says, I get that, Joe. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but it's neither the time nor the place. Right. Then Octopus says, so you're saying Luke in episode 8 would have survived that Yes.
Oh,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
That made me so absolutely mad, just beyond. I was livid at that point. I'm like, this is stupid. You had a chance to really make this make sense, and you did that.
Even Mark Hamill was like, really? This is how I'm gonna will myself to death in the okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least Yoda accomplished something.
Right? Oh boy. Kenny Hess says the narrow-minded won't accept it 100%.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Beth says we're just scratching the surface. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Project Violet projection.
I like that one. It's Project Violet projection.
Dances says, heading off, guys. If anyone interested in sharing a place for the meetup, shoot me a message. Night all. Hey, also, there's a lot of really affordable Airbnbs in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So don't just think you got to hit up a
Oh, God, yeah.
hotel specifically in the area that we're hosting this event. There are a ton of
There's a bunch.
Airbnbs, and there ain't nothing going on in West Virginia around this time. So the
Exactly.
prices are going to be very marketable.
Exactly. Absolutely. And we will get the full time whatever for all this eventually for you. I just want to get it up to you and let you know so you can start making your your
And it'll be a few hours
preparations.
long. It's not going to be like
Oh yeah.
a 2 hour
No.
event. No, we're going to make a whole evening of it.
Yeah. This is gonna be fun times. You're gonna have fun. We're gonna start, before dusk and move on into it a little bit. So you'll get. Hopefully the skies will be clear and we can pull out like the Mandus maybe and let you.
Yep.
Let you take a look through that thing and see if we can catch something out there, all of us together. Who knows? Might even manifest them. I don't know. It's hard to tell what's going to happen out there.
NW Hall says we can summon demons and make them cook bacon for us.
I mean, I'm not one for that, but bacon it's tempting. It's tempting.
Beth just had wisdom teeth removed and struggling. I may lay down, but if y'all do the guessing thing, I think it's triangle.
Yeah, it's definitely not triangle. Go lay down.
Get some rest, Beth. Man, wisdom teeth removal sucks. Oh man. Okay, let's see here. We're
what we got? Questions, comments. Throw them up there, boys and girls.
Everybody's talking about bacon and
well, they're all sending good vibes to Beth, so she's going to need that. So
demon barbecue bacon is fire.
Let's see if we can change the outcome there for her a little bit.
Yeah. Oh goodness, we've got 46 folks hanging out with us. That's fun. That's a good little crowd hanging out at 10, almost 10 o'clock.
That's just the ones we can see. So there's some we still can't see.
Right, we can't see the ones who are hanging out over on X. We've got people. I'll get notifications off at later. And take a look, I suppose. See who we got watching over there. Thank you guys, by the way, for hanging out with us. Thank you for all the donations. Let's go ahead and do that.
Oh yeah, what do we got?
While we're
how
this
many?
Show is free. Thanks to our executive producers: Adam Good, L.W. Marshall, Larry Hose, EyesintheWoods, John Summerka, Richard Minik, Luke Combs, Gary Schuler, Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, Ada Cox, Nancy White, Scott Holbrook, Lesa, aka Dances with Orbs, Finding the Trackway, Tommy Swigger, Pat, Seth Beans, Lamielle. By the way, I'm gonna be coming after you here, hopefully in the next few months, getting some ink done. Kenny Hess, Small Town Monsters, James Nelson, and our amazing super chatters, Octopus with at least a few friends, Dewey the Deucer Edwards. Hope you're doing well out there, brother. NW Hall, ovuuru 235, Spooky Appalachia, Jimothy, get you some rest. I saw that computer picture you sent me earlier. Oh, sweet Lord in heaven. Lady Wolf, LR, Guitarnchainscraig, Travis Aurednik, Jeffrey Steele, Russ Bailey, Chris Coots, Bigfootlittlefoot, Terri Summerfield, Sarah Ramsey, Julie Bug, Donna Ho, Angie Breeden, Jen Clower, Jamie Snell, Ike the Fob, Daddy Fobber, Ashley Hilt of On Wednesdays We Talk Weird, Lotus Flower, Wendy the Pooh Bear, Asher's Creation, Spirit Brothers Paranormal UK, Pat Noble, Kim Drescher, Paul Sherman, Rick Skinner. Thank you, guys.
49 so far on that scroller.
49 people.
That is unbelievable. Because of those 49 people, we are here. Thank you, 49 people.
And we're going to be hosting that big shindig.
Yeah, you did
we've got 10 people actively watching on X right now.
Oh, really?
So
hello.
We're 54. Thanks for catching us. Thanks for hanging out over there.
Hello,
guys.
hello. Welcome. So folks, what is your consensus here? Can we affect reality? regardless of what you call it, can we affect reality in some way based upon the data that you've seen that we've thrown on the table, so to speak, tonight?
Well, I mean, they have at least.
Well, I know. Exactly. You already did it. See?
Oh, Larry Hose, keeping it free. Thanks, brother.
Oh, I didn't see that, Larry.
We're getting you in. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Many, many, many thank yous.
That put us at 8 tonight.
8? Only 2 away? Really?
We were 2 away.
Oh, will we make it? Will we make it? Will they unlock the secret footage? The suspense is killing me.
And even 99 cents will do it, guys. Whatever the minimum sticker thing is.
It's just a game. It's all just a game. It's like life.
Terry McCullough says, "Can't wait to meet up again." We can't wait either, man. It's next time when you come and see us at an event, stop and hang out more. I know you want to walk around, meet, and hang out with other people, but we'll pull you up a chair, man.
This one's going to be definitely fun, like I said. So family friendly. If you're interested in learning, this is what these are going to be. They're going to literally be, like I said, we'll have presentations. I wish I could tell you who was going to be at the second one, but I cannot yet. We're gonna kick off the first one, like I said, because we're going to try to bring the Manus out. Even if the sky isn't willing, you're going to get to see it in operation. If
even
we have
if
to,
the sky isn't willing, the Mantis has
Manus.
the ability to do things.
Yeah, you'll get to see it work. That's all that matters. So, it'll be well worth it. So it'll be fun.
Ovuuru hit us up here. Thank
Ovuuru.
you. Thank you. We're at 9. One more. We're 1 away.
Boy. Oh, there it is. Done.
All right. Got it. So Trackway.
All right. Sweet.
Trackway. Appreciate you, man. By the way, Ron, he's got some stabilizing work for you to do. He got something really, 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 really good.
Oh, really?
Yep. And NW Hall coming back at it. I'm going to go
11-11. I see what you did. Look at that. 11-11.
I see it.
I like it.
Thanks, NW. We gotta wait for that footage till what, next week?
Next week I'll get you the footage.
We will wait. Make sure once we go through our lineup on who else here, we'll make sure that everybody who contributed tonight, I'll write your names down. We'll make sure that all of you guys are in the house before we air it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. It'll be later in the show. So if you're late there for the first 5 or 10 minutes,
not an hour deep. That way we've got something to talk about.
Yeah. You'll get to see it though. But it's going to be actual data, so you'll get to see that. It's good stuff. And really everybody will eventually get to see it, but you get to see it before them.
And it's worth it.
It is worth it.
The stuff that you're going to see unfold in the next, 4 episodes, 3 episodes.
Yep.
Is some of the most, nobody else has done it. I'm going to say that nobody else has done it.
Not around here.
If they didn't record it and they didn't capture the data.
Well, I mean, the guys at Skinwalker might have.
Right. Yeah. But we haven't seen what their season comes out. So if they have, then we're ahead of them. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they might have, but, and it is the stuff that you really have to sit back and look at multiple times before you're like, I don't know if I want to really, do we want to go there? And it's like, yeah, we got to do it. We got to go there because here it is. You guys figure out what it is. I don't know what that was. Something just fell behind me. You heard that, right?
Oh yeah.
Hang on a second, because there's nothing here.
But yeah, these next few episodes, if you have enjoyed the Paranormal Horizons episodes up till now, it comes unglued, is what happens. And if anyone has done this, they didn't do it on camera. Oh, he fell, of course.
By himself. He was over there sitting on the thing. Zorp fell.
Yeah.
While we were talking about that.
Baby Zorp.
Baby Zorp fell. Well, we were talking about that.
We need to.
The data is on the table.
We need to cast him in silicone.
You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do with Baby Zorp? What do I think I'm going to do with Baby Zorp? I think I'm going to finish Baby Zorp up, and I think we'll auction Baby Zorp off.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I think we'll do that because he's special. Apparently, I don't know, he's special. You sit right there, buddy. Very strange.
Then there's little mini Zorps.
Yeah, there they are. Oh yeah. So I forgot the other part of this thing, this gathering. We will have a door prize as well. So you're going to be, that's what we're taking some of these for, and you're going to get something really, really, really cool, or at least a chance to get something really cool. So you're getting something cool, but we're getting something really cool. Maybe.
Yep. It'll be worth it.
Oh, it'll be totally fun. But before we do it, let's not this show, but next show, we will gauge exactly or get around about how many is going to be there.
Late May event.
Yeah. So we need to know, kind of how many people are going to kind of be there. That's kind of going to help us set up some stuff and whatnot as well. So again, pop that up there for everybody. Actually, I have one. Well, no, that's fine. We'll just put that back up. That's fine. I had another one, but that's good. That'll work. So it'll have everything you need to know there. Okay, there we go. All right, folks and friends, what do we got over here? We got anybody say anything?
Tommy said I can build us a Mothman chair for the event giveaway again this year. We'll hold one of those off for the workshop.
Yeah, that's going to happen later. That's something.
And I want you to be there for the giveaway. Like, I want to make sure that it's an event that you can be at, and that way, there can be kind of a handoff and meet the maker kind of thing.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Not physically like meet your maker, like we're going to kill you, but the individual who won meets the maker of the product.
The next one is let me find it for you again. It is March the 12th. Yeah, March 12th.
Is that a Monday or a Wednesday?
That'd be for public, so that's going to probably be Wednesday, I'd say. Yeah. Next hits on March 12th.
Okay.
So you'll be seeing some new ads go up for that real soon. So when you see those, just get them out there and share them around. Because I'm telling you, this one.
Kenny said he was focusing on levitation when Zorp fell.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Interesting.
Thanks. That was cool.
Kenny says, I do it every evening. Now you're levitating objects off of Ron's table.
Oh, geez. Got to be careful with that radio when you tune the frequencies. What else we got? Okay, everything looks good. All right, so next week we get some exclusive data to prep you up for what's coming in that episode, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that, and we'll figure out another interesting topic for you. What'd you think about tonight's topic? Let me know. That was something I thought that it would be important in the coming weeks. If the pattern's right, it's going to be important in the coming weeks that we hit that topic and just kind of prep you guys for that.
Yeah, because we had a really in-depth conversation about a week ago about this and how important it was going to be that we needed to go ahead and tackle it.
Yeah. And we didn't tackle all of it. So
no, this was the light version.
Yeah, so when the full version hits, you're going to want to watch that too. It will not be a replay of this. It'll be something completely
right. You'll get some of the
different.
same information, but you're going to get more.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to actually be talking about the possibility of weaponization of reality itself, if that tells you anything. And if you haven't read the book, I would suggest you go out and get it. It's a really good book. This one I'll back. This is Reality Denied. This is by John B. Alexander. And this is anyone who's interested in basically consciousness, awareness, the whole UAP thing and how it's related. You're going to want to read this book. It helps you understand a lot. Not that I think anybody's got a handle on it, by the way. I just think it'll help you to kind of figure out what it means to you. Because we don't know.
Right.
we don't know. If you're tuning in to figure out the answers to the multiverse and the universe and the quantum verse, we don't know.
Wrong show.
There's other people. You can go watch them tell you what everything is because they know. We don't know. We are in the same boat as you guys. We're trying to figure this stuff out.
Oh boy. Well, guys, it is rounding about on that time.
It is.
Any final thoughts from the listeners?
Yeah, let's get you guys.
Any final questions? Let's see.
Give them a couple secs.
Oh, yeah. I work in herbal recreational meditation, mental levitation stuff.
Well,
that's a creative way.
Whatever works for you. I mean, remember different vehicles.
Way of the Sploot says, off topic, what avatar and names are you using on PlayStation? I'll try to send a friend request to you. I am my handle is Skinwalker13. It's Skin_Walker13.
Yeah. And I can't remember. I think mine's like some Battlefield old icon that I had forever ago. Pretty sure it was. It's like the old soldier or something they had in one of those things. I never changed it. I need to change it.
Oh, yeah. Yours was one of the gas mask soldiers.
It was, wasn't it?
And then my avatar is like an Oni mask with horns, like crazy horns. Black and white Oni mask with 4 horns.
See, I never actually played that much with anyone else. So, it's kind of new. I'm good with it though. I'm learning.
Then there, I put my PNS. I put the wrong out letters in there. It's but there's my gamer tag there on PSN.
All right, folks.
Can't wait to meet you in March. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. You get to see some new equipment and play with it, and we're gonna talk about some stuff. Number one thing we'll be talking about, I can tell you right now what one of the things we'll be talking about. We are going to be having a discussion about UFO nose and how to spot those. That's kind of important. UFO nose. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember that? There's actually a part on our website that I did a long time ago that Stan Gordon helped us with, provide some of the imagery that we did, and it's a little catalog of things to check off before you think you have the mothership from Zeta Reticuli, for example, because there were people who literally said that when I did.
Well, I mean, that's honestly where Zorp came from.
I know exactly where it all came from, which is just amazing because in that little bit of
we manifested Zorp in reality.
Yeah, right. Weird, huh? Yeah, weird. That's weird. It's been a long trip.
Commander Zorp and Kargon were just these characters that came alive due to people who were true believers in the UFO community, and now look at them.
I know. That's just not right. There's just something wrong about that reality right there. So, I mean, I don't know how to explain that.
Donna, good night. You have a good weekend as well. Get some rest.
Blessings.
Potluck featuring much bacon. It can.
Well, it better. Someone better bring some bacon, because I'm going to tell you this right now. This is a fact. I promised every single one of you. This will be the first and last of these meetings, unless somebody brings something with bacon in it. All you do is talk about bacon. Bacon, bacon this, bacon that, bacon, bacon. Somebody better have some bacon at this thing. Okay? No, for real. Bring whatever you can. We're gonna just have like an open potluck kind of thing. I'll make something. Joe will make something.
Yep.
You know, you guys bring something. We'll have this massive amount of food. It'll be wonderful. You know, there'll probably be enough for people to take home. Who knows? I don't know. Let's just make it fun. That's the whole point.
Once we get like a loose, like we're not going to RSVP and hold people to it. Like we'll get a loose RSVP number, so that way we know what to do and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to make sure that, you know, like for example, if I happen to have to make like a dessert, I want to make sure I make enough dessert for people, because I eat a lot of dessert, just to let you know. It has been known to disappear.
It has
the dessert that I make for me, for other people. I'll still eat it. So I want to make sure I have this portion for me, and then enough for them. About here would probably be all right.
Ron begging for bacon.
I don't know. It's not bacon though.
Oh, that was perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. Pickled what? Did someone say pickled duck eggs?
Yeah, I think that was
what? What is a pickled?
My ducks finally laid eggs this week. I feel like I'm a millionaire.
Pickled duck eggs. That sounds interesting.
Pickled duck eggs. Yeah, I mean you can do it.
Pickled duck eggs. Huh.
I've had pickled eggs before. I've never had pickled duck eggs.
I made some soy eggs a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, those are good.
I'm working on perfecting it. I'm going to perfect it this weekend, actually. So I'll let you know how it goes next week.
I'll talk to you some tomorrow about that, because I've got some tips I can throw at you for some chili oil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The Japanese had me make soy eggs.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yep.
Then let's see. And then wasabi eggs.
God, are we talking
Mark
about?
Just got home. Hey guys, love pickled pig.
Hey Mark, I used to eat those when I was little. Then I figured out what they were, and I didn't eat them after that. They were good though. I'm not lying.
Out there, pig's feet.
Yeah, yeah. Like, oh God, no, I can't do that. But it's all psychological. Don't get me wrong. If I'm living in a wasteland and I find me a jar of pickled pig feet,
yep,
yeah, I'm eating that.
Down.
I'm eating that. So y'all better start. Okay, final thoughts tonight. I'm going to do it because I got to go play Fortnite. Okay, I'm just going to tell you straight up what's getting ready to happen. I'm getting off here.
I got my dishwasher fixed, so I might see you on there.
There you go. See, we got things to do. So here's the final thought. Every single one of you, all 30 whatever of you that's left, need to listen to this message for real. And Joe, if I say anything wrong, stop me, because it may affect reality. Every single one of you have within you the ability, literally, to create reality in your own way. Okay. That doesn't mean that you can go out, like I said, and turn your coffee into tequila, because if you could, I wouldn't be here right now. The reality of this is that you can be nice to other people. You don't have to agree with them. We've proven that here. This podcast continues to grow and grow exponentially. It's insane what's happening. I didn't do it. I couldn't imagine it in a million years that what's happening is happening. And I see it even getting bigger at this point, which is quite terrifying, honestly.
And AI confirms it. apparently.
Just saying, there's weird things that are happening right now, but it proves that kind of if you stay in that positive mindset, and I know you can't all the time, there's just too much stuff, but put yourself in that positive mindset for just a little bit each day, okay? And then remember it the next day, and then do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, whenever you're in that bad mood, you can just tune into that little radio station, whatever that was that made you feel that way, that little mnemonic device that you gave yourself, that little programming, and put yourself in that good mood again, no matter what's going on. And hopefully you can translate that and get it over to somebody else and make them understand it, and they can do the same thing. Pretty soon, whether it's manifestation or we're just, jumping timelines, call it what you want. Hopefully we get into the right one. We can all just have a whole lot better time. Let's just put it that way.
Octopus says, you guys have truly and ironically expanded my positive personal and paranormal horizons. Happy octopus noises.
Happy octopus noises.
I'm gonna work on making that a sound. I'll go get.
I don't even know what that is.
I will go get an octopus, a dead one, and slap it down on the table and record that.
It's not happy. What is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, we'll make a cartoon where it's happy, but it's
the
noises of a corpse. Flat.
Oh, God. This was a waste of
time. This is what he's had to work with forever.
It was a waste of time.
Dark
try to be positive. He talks about dead octopuses. I don't know what's going
on. Horrified octopus noises.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh man, you guys are awesome. We appreciate each and every one of you as always, and without you guys this show wouldn't be happening. We are extremely appreciative that you guys, we've got
manifest
a biscuit loaf thingy with bacon and cheese. All right,
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm down, Miss Trackway.
Carry on, Joe. I saw bacon.
We appreciate you guys more than we could really ever expand. We know we say that all the time, and it's not just housekeeping. Like, we really do. Mark says Native Americans are now pulling together as never before, encouraged by the birth of the white buffalo calf. Yep, which is a sign of another chance. Right.
What he said, another chance. You get a chance, people. That's what I'm talking about. We have a chance. It doesn't mean that it's guaranteed. You have to make it happen.
So it's not just housekeeping when we say that we appreciate you guys. We really do. This show wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you guys. And we are very appreciative of all of you guys that jumped in on the very first Wild and Weird official radio show of 2025.
That's right.
It was the first one in a long time because of the filming process and everything. So thank you guys for hanging out with us there. We're going to be putting together more of those for you and getting back to a regular kind of schedule once again. So we really appreciate you. We thank you for all of the time and effort that you put into helping us make this a success. If you or anyone you know have had a sighting or would just like to talk or maybe even come on the show some point, get a hold of us at wildandweirdwv@gmail.com. If you've had a sighting and would like to make an official report, you can head over to wildandweirdwv at wildandweirdwv.com, hit the report a sighting tab, fill out the questionnaire, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. We're going to be on the road this year. Our first date coming up for certain is going to be in Nitro, West Virginia in March. There is a paranormal event occurring that is going to be towards the end of March. What, the 25th?
I don't remember the date. I have to get it still for everybody. I know
it's
called Project Odd or something like that, I believe.
Yeah. So it's the week. I think it's the week before the 29th, but. So it'd be anyway, that's going to be in Nitro, West Virginia. Come hang out with us. It's going to be a pretty fun event. We're looking forward to it. Then we've got OBC, which is always an astronomical hit. It is a blowout show. God knows what we're going to be getting up to at that one this year. That is going to be May 2nd. We're going to be there the whole weekend. We're going to have some fun. Come hang out with us because why not? This is like Bigfoot Party Central in Ohio. Do the thing. It's a blast.
Not to mention, there's been things seen there during it.
100%.
So,
The
you know,
last 2 years that we've gone, we've recorded data.
yeah. So, yeah, go. It'll be fun.
Yep. And you guys, we appreciate you. Again, I don't mean that any less gravity ever when we say that we appreciate you guys, because it is mind-blowing that you come and hang out with us week in, week out. Remember, we've got a new episode coming out in 2 weeks, but you guys get a sneak peek of some of the data next Thursday. Be here. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a blast. And keep in mind, you have the ability to be better, to make the world better, just by a thought. Stay wild and weird.
Think bacon.
Bacon.